The genesis for the production of Anything Goes that finally went up here at Lincoln Center really was Anna Krause, Russell Krause's widow, who felt that the reason there had never been a first-class revival of the show, and there hadn't been one for decades, was that the book, which had been written fast by a number of different people under a lot of different circumstances, needed a revision. And so Tim, her son, who was an accomplished journalist, was the first person that she turned to. And she turned to me because I had been working in the theater for a period of time. We did a revision of the book. And Greg Mosher was really the guy who was committed to the idea that Cole Porter had written for the theater and that his songs had largely moved into nightclubs and cabarets around the country, and that it would be part of the mission statement of an institution like this to put Cole Porter back on stage. So what Greg was committed to the idea of taking Anything Goes and making it work here at the Beaumont.
The world has gone mad today, and good's bad today, and black's white today, and day's night today, when most guys today, that women prize today, are just silly gigolos. And though I'm not a great romancer, I know that I'm bound to answer when you propose. Anything goes.
By the time we got here with Anything Goes, Jerry Zaks, who directed it, had already, he and Tony Walton working together, really had sort of demonstrated to each other and to the world that this stage was an entirely workable space. And in fact, the thrust with the vast upstage space that exists behind it seemed as though it was ideally suited to the configuration that Tony had in mind. We arrived here with a version of the show, and we then worked very closely with Jerry Zaks and with his assistant Laurie Steinberg in refining that so that the process went on until, you know, we felt we had what we wanted, which was not at the first preview, I promise you. One of the things I love about the Beaumont, I learned to love during the run of Anything Goes. I only lived about 10 blocks from here at the time, and I would I would conspire to find myself in the neighborhood of the theater, sort of towards the end of the first act. And I would often wander in and stand just inside the doors and watch Anything Goes, which we had made the finale of the first act. And not only could you watch the number, but you could watch 1,100 people just enjoying themselves, And often I would look up and I would see 1,101, and the one was Bernie, who had come down from his office to do exactly what I was doing, which was to come in and stand just inside the doors to watch the end of the act. At Lincoln Center Theater, you know, I've worked in a variety of different places, and there's no better place to work. There's no better feeling than walking into this building. And again, I think it's because first with Greg and Bernie, and then with Andre and Bernie at the top, there really is a feeling here that you've entered theater land, and that Bernie once said to me in a conversation about I don't know what, he said, I was trained to trust the artist. And I feel as though this is a place where people identify the artists that they believe in, and then they trust them to do their work. Every time I come back here, I feel, like the luckiest guy in the world.